All right, guys. Ben here from Hyper Coliseum. We've got our king Jose joining us today. He's going to give us a quick breakdown of his Armours deck. I know a lot of you guys have been looking forward to seeing this video, and he's here to deliver. So without further ado, hop right into it, my man.
All right, for sure. First off, shout out to you guys and Sully's for letting us do this, and you guys for always recording and stuff and building the community up. So keep it going. So start off on that. Let's go with the Wanyas. I've got 4 of, as you can see. Big thing with draw power in this deck, so I want to see all pieces as soon as I can, hopefully, if I got the Tamer on board. So kind of standard for me on that. 1 copy of the Bukamon, of course. If I can get jamming, better. If not, just to have the extra piece. I like to have all 5 eggs for sure. Then we're going to start off next on the rookies. 4 of the jamming Vmon. I know how much you hate this card. Saw the last video. So I love the jamming. I love that, you know, there's got to be some sort of reaction to it. So players usually look at it and try to get rid of it. So kind of wastes them a swing if they want to get rid of it.
He sticks.
He sticks. He's very sticky. Next up then is 3 copies of the Vmon. As you can see, it's the promo one. Once again, when the attacking, draw 1, and the reducing the cost by Digivolution helps out a lot. Next up then is 2 of the EX-1 Vmon. Kept these in particular just to have them, just have more options to choose from for Vmons, especially because I don't run 4 of these just in case I don't have the Tamer on board. At least when I attack and swing, hopefully this Vmon's underneath. Restand, hopefully with the Magna effect for blocker, and at least gain the memory from there.
For sure.
Then of course 2 copies of the BT-8 Vmon. Helps out a lot looking for top 4 cards. I only have 2 of because I feel like more than that it's going to be like, it will clunky for sure, big time. So I feel like 2 was a good number. Looking for pieces like the Magna X-Antibody or any 2-colored blue card helped out a lot.
And he doesn't specify like Digimon. It's any 2-colored card,
blue.
Which is
so
nice.
Megadeth, Gigadeth, as you know, the Magna. So pretty much a lot of majority pieces in the deck.
Nice.
The next up, of course, is the 3V that lets you search the top 3, and then you get the free trait and 1 card with Davis Mantonia in its name. Helps out a lot too. I don't use the inheritable, of course. I don't do any DNA digivolving, and then that's pretty much it on the rookies.
Nice.
This for sure. Cool. All right, then, and then after that, I'm going to start off with the Armours. So for sure, 4 copies of the Magna from BT-15. Love the effect, especially the fact that it's not armor purge, but the fact that I can still play out of Vmon if it gets removed from the board helps out a lot. The draw power again, awesome.
Helps you keep your bodies on board.
Oh yeah, sticky all over the place. Jesus. Then next up is 4 copies of the BT-8 Magna, the restanding, blocker, armor purge. The DP buff is what I love the most about this thing. I mean, you've seen so many times how much that DP buff has saved me games, so I love that. And then 4 copies of Lydramon, so it's pretty much standard. Love the fact that you can suspend a level 4 or lower. The blue-green color helps the most with my pieces. Later on you'll see as to why. And then lastly, 2 copies of Kuma. Helps me, close out games if needed. I feel like people get caught off guard because they're so focused on armors.
Me being one of them.
Exactly. So just they see the hybrid and they're like, oh crap, what am I gonna do now?
For sure.
So that pretty much runs it on that. The next up, 3 copies of Magna X-Antibody. 4 felt clunky, honestly, through so much playtesting, so I felt like 3 was like a good number for me to work with.
Nice.
I also needed more space, as you'll see the other options that I used for. And then 2 copies of Death X. Clutch always for whiteboards. The fact that, once they go too far out, trying to overpower me or go too wide for me, and boom, Death X to help me counter.
Especially in this previous format, Death X was doing work.
So many times.
Yeah.
It just does its work, does what it's supposed to. And then I made just these little tweaks, which are, I used to have 4 Davis and Kens, but once again, I saw it too often in hand. Sometimes I just needed 1 on board or 2 at most, and then it just became a hassle where I would need certain pieces, and I just saw Davis and Ken instead. Didn't work out. So 3 is a good number for me, honestly, at the end of the day. Then, of course, 2 copies of Davis, the 3 memory staple, being able to search for pieces. If I can get a Lydramon in those mixes and then another blue, perfect. Works perfectly.
The double hit.
Oh yeah. And then for the options, so for sure, For Heaven's Judgment. You already know. I used to run 3, and then just seeing 4 was most consistent. So it always, when I was running 3, I wouldn't see it when I needed it, and it would be at the most inconvenient times. And somehow when I jump back up to 4, I'm seeing it perfectly when I need it, either in security or when I need it in hand. So can't go wrong with it.
For those of you who are seeing that it's a yellow card, you can use it as long as you have a green source, right?
So either a green Tamer or green Digimon in play.
Gotcha.
So as long as I have one of those, then I can still use Heaven's Judgment, and then of course I've got the Magnus to help with that yellow color as well. Then next up is 2 copies of the Awakening of the Golden Knight. Have you seen before? It helps with digivolving Magna from another armor, so like Elytramon can go into Magna, Magna into X-Antibody for a reduced cost. And the biggest thing for this too is the fact that you can prevent DP reduction for a turn. So stacking that on top of a fresh new BT-8 Magna with sources in trash helps out a lot.
Yeah.
So definitely a big card.
Nice.
Then 1 copy of the Fire Rocket, of course, just to help with extra checks. The security option is what I actually use that more prioritized for getting rid of blockers. So this has helped me. I don't know how many times it gets Melga when they've had the Melga X-Anti where it restands, it's got blocker, runs into Fire Rocket, boom, I popped off the blocker, So
sure.
At least a 1-up for sure. And of course, 1 copy of Ice Wall. Everyone knows how that works out. -2 memory, and then in security gain 2.
Nice.
And then the big boys that I rely on, Gigadeath. A 1-up was perfect. 2 was too much. Anything more than that, I never worked with. So
You're the first man I've seen to make it work.
I love it every time when I want to use it, man. On both ends, if not from playing from hand, the fact of what it does in security, suspending 1, and then returning 1 of the suspended to the bottom of the deck just helped out so many times.
Beautiful.
Exactly. Love it. 2 copies of Megadeth, of course. Same scenario, just with 1 Digimon as opposed to going wide. And then I think one of the most MVPs, Positron Laser. Favorite card. I don't know how many times it has saved my butt just for 1 turn, which is all I need. And just needing 1 color, which is the green, and usually I'll have Elytramon or Davidson Ken on board to be able to use it.
For sure.
And if not in security, it is such a lifesaver. Like, it is nuts.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much about the deck list.
Nice. So it looks like a very well thought out, like almost like toolboxy sort of deck. It's like Armor Rush, but it almost feels like an Armor toolbox in a way.
Oh yeah, that's what I loved about seeing Armor Rush in the early days was like everyone had their own variation, and then as we gone on with more sets, it just became wider and wider, and everyone had their own thing. So I love that, but the biggest issues I saw in some Armor Rushes was it was all gas, no brakes, and as soon as the gas ran out, they didn't have much like options to figure out how to get out of it. So when I saw that, and I was having the same issues, I figured I'm just going to make this into a more toolbox style and control the board. So that's why you see a lot more options in this deck than the usual Armor Rush decks that I've seen throughout there. And having so much time to play with it, mess with it, that's what I came to. Each piece has a reason behind it, and some of them are just a 1-of, and that's all I need for the deck.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely one of our better deck builders. Were there any like particular inspirations behind this build outside of what we just talked about?
Watching other players for sure, and growing like throughout Discord and playing all those matches. And then when I would follow Facebook groups where they would have, I guess, like open matches for certain cards where like, you put $5 in each player, and then, whoever wins gets that card. So I was doing a lot of that.
Nice.
And watching those players and then getting advice from them and then seeing their counter plays helped me a lot build this.
Nice.
So that was the inspiration from that.
Perfect. And then what do you feel like are your better matchups? And what are your worst matchups?
So better matchups is I understand how to run against Red Hybrid for sure.
As I know very well.
Yes. Some OTK decks like Melga I don't have an issue with.
Yeah.
I know how to run around that, but if they get their upper hand, it is what it is. Bloom Lord I have real easy time with, surprisingly. As soon as they go too far out, I've got enough toolbox pieces or Death X, and I'm pretty much maintaining the board.
For sure.
And then other than that, though, my worst matchups, I hate set control with a passion. Jesus Christ. It's just at that point, I'm either trying to make them deck out or buy me enough time to see what I can do based on what I'm seeing in security. And then Black War Gray is very hard. Certain pieces in that deck are still adjusted to Black War Gray. and trying to just adjust to that. They're de-digivolving and then not getting affected from I forgot the tamer's name.
Yuya.
Yuya.
Yeah.
That's a huge headache for me. And then a lot of purple decks like Beelzemon. Like if they're out rushing me, it becomes a bit of a hassle for sure. But really, those are the three biggest decks I've had issues with for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
And any new tech pieces you see like in BT-15, 16 that you want to like splash into the deck?
I'm still gonna see what's up with that beta that has jamming. I want to mess with that, honestly. And then starter. Yeah, of course. I've already been messing with it with the Magna starter on Drassel. So I think 3 pieces are going to be good for that Magna. So I've already got 3 cards in particular I'm going to remove to make adjustments for that new Magna.
Nice.
And then of course I still haven't gotten far enough yet into BT-16 because I know that new Magna's coming out, but I do know that I will run a 4 of that, and I am still going to stick to at least 2 copies of this current Magna X-Anti as well.
Nice.
I feel like there's going to be a combo there with Awakening of the Golden Knight that I can manipulate with, and I want to see how that works out.
Nice.
So definitely those pieces, big time.
Cool. And lastly, any shout outs you want to make?
Yes, you guys, watching you guys and Sully start from the bottom with Digimon has been awesome. You know, we went from that, I think it was BT-11 pre-release of like 2 people showed up.
Yeah.
I was one of them. And then all you guys are here now, which is pretty dope. And then of course Hyper Coliseum for you guys doing your thing here and recording our, you know, our matches and you guys blowing up. Shout out to Eric for taking the losses so you know, calmly and nicely whenever I play them. Charles, who's been watching, he's a fellow Armor Rush player. It's awesome too. Appreciate him. And my wife and my daughter for dealing with all this BS right now with all Digimon. You know, they hear me at least once a week talking about the channel, so them, and yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, sweet. Well, thanks for doing this, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Take care.
And that wraps up the video, guys. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. I know a lot of folks have been clamoring for Jose's list, and we're looking forward to hearing him break down his list, his ratios, and you know, talk about how he pilots the deck, because it's been such a very, very popular deck amongst you all. So again, hopefully y'all enjoyed it, and hopefully this is something that we can continue doing. I know we've got a lot of great players at our locals who bring a lot of like spicy, fun decks that y'all have enjoyed. So, you know, maybe we'll try to do this more often with some of our local players. And we look forward to bringing you more BT-15 content. I know match commentary has been a bit lacking over the past week or so, but we do have a lot in store for you guys regarding commentary. We did have our first locals today at the time of recording, so we're going to be recording some commentary later today and get them out for you this week. So really excited to get that going and really excited to just delve into BT-15 with y'all. So if you're tuning in, thank you all for the support. We do have our socials down in the video description down below. A few of you have been asking about the box tournament. Yes, we are going to be churning out details this week, so be on the lookout for a quick either YouTube short, an update video, and more importantly an update through the Discord regarding fine details about the tournament. So those of you looking forward to it, it will be released this week. TJ just got back from Japan, so we're gonna sit down tonight and just, you know, churn all that stuff out for y'all. So apologize for the delays regarding that. But once again, thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all, and we'll catch you on that flippy flip. Bye bye.